Hey YouTube, what's going on? Mark here. Happy Friday to all. And boy, let me tell you something. We had a goated week. I will do a bonus segment after we get through addressing these, little NASCAR headlines before the season begins next week after the most overhyped and overrated sport in America finally comes to an end to the point where I do not have to hear about that grade A horseshit after this coming Sunday because a real sport will be starting up again. NASCAR. Daytona. Yeah, the real Super Bowl. The Daytona 500 and my Ricky Craven 32nd birthday, but that's neither here or there. So what are we here to talk about today? Well, or tonight, because it's 11:01 p.m. here on the East Coast of Northeast Ohio, but you know what I mean. So the first piece of news that we're going to address today or tonight, either one, whenever you're watching this, NASCAR announced as a major last-second bombshell right before the Bush, the whatever the fuck you call it, Bush Light crash or cookout crash, because that's what they did on Wednesday night while I was watching the Spurs game, crash, because it got stupid with the sleet and everything, that they were going to replace the Roval with the oval at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the fall, meaning we get the UAW-GM Quality 500 back, which is something me and the majority of the race fans, legitimate race fans, and the people in NASCAR wanted, considering it's way better than the Roval could ever dream of. And I was hoping they would purposely change it back to the oval out of spite just so C-Rad TV can fucking punch the air. I mean, I love him to death and no hard feelings, but he can keep crying all he wants because this is what the majority wanted, not just actual true race fans as well as the people in NASCAR that are involved in the sport. It's basically them. It has nothing to do with, the bandwagon, aka the internet. Like, get the fuck out of here with that logic. I don't know where you people come up with this shit. I mean, sure. I mean, I can understand why a lot of people didn't like the Roval. And to be perfectly honest, I can understand why there's a lot of people who never cared for it and still wanted to keep the UAW-GM Quality 500. I personally gave the Roval a chance when they went with it for the first time in 2018. That was crazy good with the whole Jimmy Johnson, Mark Truex Jr. debacle, which allowed Ryan Blaney to come through and get a second career Winston Cup win. 2019 was basically, drama and chase implications. Or was that the year before? So, yeah, that was the year before with the Jimmy and Truex thing. But 2019, we saw Chase Elliott's quote-unquote controller die, crash into turn one, and still come back from last to first to win that one, and how the officiating was bad. But that was some fun bad officiating, if we're being honest. 2020, the COVID version, that basically still hurts as a Ty Dillon fan, considering that was the last legit shot he had at getting his first career Winston Cup win in the now defunct Germain Racing number 13 Geico team. 2021 was, I guess, fun, kind of, technically, sort of, with the whole Harvick versus Chase part 2, in which Harvick got scared, Chase coming after him in retaliation for wrecking him earlier in the race and what the bullshit that happened to Sharpie 500 weeks earlier, to the point where he botched turn 1 and completely smashed into the wall. But 2022 has really jumped the shark. That one started off as an absolute snooze fest, which makes me wish I would have gone to Cedar Point that day like my dad and I originally planning before plans changed and I was stuck watching the shitty Roval to the point where that started off as a snooze fest and then it ended as survival of a demolition derby with a caution that really shouldn't have happened with 6 to go with a piece of cardboard in the middle of the track, which they could have. They said it was out there with 40 to go, but if that really the case, they waited for 6 to go to create some manufactured drama and pure entertainment, then to make that race look good on paper, even though it really wasn't, then we got some serious problems. Because after that, it started to get stale for me. Because 2023, we don't even speak on that because I took the year off from NASCAR outside of 2 races, the Gatorade Twin 125 and MIS, when it was the GFS Marketplace 400. 2024, on the other hand, do I recall watching that one? No, I did not have any interest in that because that's when I just gave up on the Roval altogether about the, when the Alex Bowman disqualification happened, which gave, fake Ward Burton a free pass back into the chase, fuck that, never calling it the playoffs. I never called it the playoffs, and guess what? I'm glad that shit is fucking gone for good. So that just gave fake Ward Burton a free pass back into the chase where he really shouldn't have got it, considering, Bowman got screwed with that failing post-race inspection, which is what led to fake Ward Burton's Mickey Mouse Winston Cup championship. And then 2025 was the straw that broke the camel's back, I guess. And then it took NASCAR right before the start of the season to realize that when this playoff bullshit, encourage dirty driving and using your car as a weapon to get into the chase or try to get into the next round of the chase, where Chastain took out, somebody doing a bonsai move, using his car as a weapon to go to the next round of the chase. He did wreck the guy, but you know what Landon Castle said? Rule number one of stock car racing is learn how to wreck someone without wrecking yourself. He ended up wrecking himself too, so therefore it didn't even look out for him. So NASCAR probably looked at all those Roval disaster classes in 2022 and on and off the track and probably realized what they were doing wrong. Much to the chagrin of the Roval sexuals, the Roval shills, shit like that. So they finally listened to us, and the majority of the fans, not those quote-unquote internet bandwagons like C-Rad TV likes to call it, which is nowhere near the truth, and people want to say in this category, want to say, but the Roval was fine. Yeah, it was fine until it got stale in 2022. After that, it just lost its luster, ran its course, so it needed to fucking go as soon as possible, because by then, it overstayed its welcome. So therefore, this is what the majority of us race fans and people in NASCAR wanted, so it is better for the sport. I mean, I get the argument that most tracks shouldn't have 2 dates, but with the Charlotte thing, what difference does it make? I mean, this has been a thing for a long time, since before the majority of us would have been born, before the heyday of NASCAR in the late 90s, early to mid-2000s. It's been a forever thing. NASCAR only took it off because they wanted to try something new, considering the oval got pushed from Saturday night to Sunday afternoon in 2015 and 16 due to rain, and NASCAR apparently didn't like that. So to avoid it from happening again in 2017, they put it at the Sunday afternoon race, and I guess that flopped, so they tried something different, and that ended up flopping even more. So maybe the UAW-GM Quality 500 will get revived, considering, obviously it's going to be a 3 p.m. race Sunday again, but maybe it'll do a hell of a lot better than it did in 2015, 16, and 17, because the last good one we had was the last Saturday night one we was 2014, in which the last two we should have got was 2015, 16, but you could thank Mother Nature's bitch ass and their fucking dirty tricks for that shit, for ruining everything. So, therefore, I heard it's going to be 400 miles and not 500 miles, even though I wish that was the case, but hey, I'll still call it UAW-GM Quality 500 because, anybody who still calls things by their predecessors' names and predecessor amount of miles is definitely a Mark Oliveira sports fan. So I guess I can take that as a badge of honor and a compliment that people say they're a Mark Oliveira fan when they're calling things by their predecessor's name in Americans professional sports, supposed to be NASCAR, the NBA, or stuff like that. So, yeah, I know people wanted it to be a night race. I kind of wanted that too, along with 500 miles. Well, if it's 400 miles, it's 400 miles. I wish it could be a Saturday night race because that was the only night race in the chase back in the day, or during the full season Latford system, to the point where that was the only night race you had really late in the season. The true night race late in the season after the 2002 race, which was supposed to be in the daytime, got delayed for so long that it started late evening and ended up pitch black, to the point where NASCAR moved it to a full-on night race from 03 to 2014, which is by then 2015. That's when it went downhill. This race went downhill in terms of the production quality. But I think the reason why they're not doing it Saturday night because of Sunday night football, it'll tank with the NASCAR ratings, and that's basically rating suicide, and I don't think they want that. It's part of why they're moving the Daytona 500 from President's Day weekend to the week after my birthday next year, because they don't want to compete with the bum-ass Super Bowl and commit rating suicide. But it's a blessing in disguise because I'll get to relive 2011 through 2017 again to have a 2-week birthday celebration. So with the UAW-GM Quality 500 back for 2026 and beyond, do not underestimate the revamped version, because it could be better than what it was, before, especially when it started going downhill from 2015 to 2017. So maybe it'll get its redemption that it deserves and prove all the naysayers and haters and lemmings and losers wrong, and which will give us, the majority, the race fans and people involved in NASCAR that wanted this back, because we know for a fact it's better for the sport, most likely. So to the point where, we will put those haters, lemmings, losers, and naysayers to shame when we get the last laugh, when this race puts on on a banger in October in the chase for the cup. Now for the other piece of news I wanted to address with the fanboy cap on, where I put personal feelings over common sense. Well, kind of, but I have to do the other way around a little bit too. So one of my favorite NASCAR drivers since 2020, Hailie Deegan, is coming back to NASCAR. This is not a move I did not expect. I mean, she'll be making some partial truck starts, I'm sure. Maybe she'll be in the Florida Dodge Dealers 250, so I can have a stacked start to my birthday on this coming Friday night, a week from this tonight, for after my birthday, so early birthday celebration at work. But I have my doubts. I don't know if she's on the entry list for that. I'll have to check. So if I'm too lazy to check, which I probably will be, but you never know, someone correct me in the comments or let me know if she's going to be on the entry list for that race or not, because I'm going to have a lot of fun with that race with a bunch of my favorites and a lot of heavyweight names in the field of NASCAR's past and present. But if they can be smart with her this time and not rush her up like they did before and do what they actually asked them to do, where they let her take her time and, not pull a Danica 2.0 and rush her up. And, if they let her, take her time and move up organically, slowly but surely, and take it slow, again, she could try to prove once again my point that she has the potential to be better than Danica, including getting to the Winston Cup level, as long as they don't rush her. Because that's what I wanted them to do the first time, because that's why part of why I rooted for her. Not because she was hot or nothing. No, nothing to do with that. As a race fan, I do not do that with the female drivers. I want them to succeed. And if I feel like they can be better than the shitty ones we saw growing up over the years, then I'm their fan. So therefore, I understood why that, they booted her out of the Busch Grand National Series at AM Racing midway through 2024 because she was horrible. So she kind of rebooted her career in Indy Lights in 2025. So therefore, McAnally Racing, the Truck Series team that Hemrick races for, decided to give her a chance back in NASCAR, but they put her in the ARCA West. So therefore, she can actually do stuff there like she did in 2018 and 2019, I think it was. I think it might have been, 2018, 2019, because 2020 went to ARCA Remax. So if she can recapture the 2018-2019 magic in the ARCA West series and pick up where she left off, but then they let her take her time, let her spend a year or two in there, and then maybe 2028 move up to trucks and stay in trucks for another year, 2029, 2030, and 2031. She stays in the Busch Grand National, maybe 2032. But if by 2032 she's Winston Cup ready, they know she's Winston Cup ready, then pull the trigger, the gloves are off. And by then, I think I'll be 38 years old. So I'll be getting close to an old geezer by then, because Emily and I are 7 years apart, and she'll be getting close to that point too. Okay, guys, I got new glasses, as you can see, just in time for my Ricky Craven 32nd birthday next Sunday with, the Daytona 500 and all these people I love coming to not only celebrate my birthday and watch the Great American Race, but honor my grandmother, which is going to be my first Daytona 500 and first birthday without her as a lifelong NASCAR fan since my 7th birthday in 2001, when it was my first race in Daytona 500 and my first driver passed away on the last lap while, winning third place, trying to look out for his team instead of race for the win as a driver. He was looking out for his team as a car owner, and, it backfired on him. So rest in peace, Dale Earnhardt Sr. So this is going to be a coping skill I'm going to have to make it less sad, because usually the first of anything without a loved one is the hardest. So therefore, I'm going to have a lot of people supporting me that day, and I'm going to feel loved. It's going to soften the blow a lot, and it's going to be less sad because we get to watch cars go around in ovals at 190, 200 miles an hour for 200 laps and 500 miles, and probably get to see them wreck a lot of cars and tear up a lot of equipment. I mean, I want to see a correct fest compared to what Susie V got last year with our Watkins Glen for Emily's birthday race, where nothing happened while Emily and I were watching, and Susie V showed up with 10 to go, and still nothing happened. I told her you didn't miss anything. So I want her and the other guests that I have coming, from my ViaQuest work, and any outsiders that from ViaQuest that I may have coming, I want them to see some fucking crashes. And if it's as long as a good racing product, then I'm all for it. And as long as there's no stupidity involved, then yes. And as long as no one gets hurt or seriously worse, then I'm all for the crashing. And even if someone does a blowover, goes airborne or hits the catch fence, I just don't want no driver or fans getting hurt. So Oh man, I'm so excited. This is the most excited I've been for a Daytona 500, even more than last year. Hell, I'm even more excited for this NASCAR season than I was last year because a lot of good ass shit is coming up, and then to the point where I may not have to go outside when it's 80 degrees. I can enjoy some races that I wanted back for a long time or I never got to see back in the day before my time because like North Wilkesboro, when they had points paying races, I either was not on this earth walking, I was not existent, or when I was a baby, because the last points race they had there was in 1996 when I was 2, when I still lived on West 57. So even if it's going to be 80 degrees, I'll probably go outside in the beginning of the day, like I mentioned in a previous NASCAR news update video. And kind of like, the Chicago Tropicana 400. And if the fireworks at Brook Park are on Saturday instead of Sunday, yeah, the Napa 500. I will go outside in the middle of the day with my Tim Duncan on, come home close to race time, but I won't record a YouTube video just to save time. And I'll take a shower, take the Duncan off, put pajamas on, put a racing hat on, and then enjoy the race at night. And hopefully they don't take too fucking long to the point where I can go to bed in a timely and get to work the next day, eat for the next those 3 weeks in a row. But what I'm really here to talk about as a bonus clip is, about how amazing and goated this week was. But I'm just going to take to the story from today, Friday. So I originally was going to sit out today. I originally was going to sit out because, I wanted to get an early start on the weekend. I deserved to, cap it off there. And with this crazy ass weather we had in Northeast Ohio today, again, but nowhere near snowgate levels of bad or from this earlier this year, or freezegate levels of bad from last year when my mom and I went to the fucking store in the middle of the freeze storm, a random Giant Eagle that I'd never go to except for that one time, and I haven't been back there since then. Oh man, and I was riding the scooter back for her, so I could put it away, and I was screaming Freebird and screaming, "Here comes Earnhardt, Cal Petty to the checker flag." And even in the front of the store, my mom heard me in the car outside in the parking lot because I was that fucking loud, because I have a loud ass voice because of, my autism and disability and shit like that. But, I don't know where to begin with this, man. Holy shit. Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna come in today, but I just wanted to get an early start on the weekend. But I felt like I would have been wrong to screw my social media audience out of a storybook ending of how this shit was gonna ramp up, considering how goated this week was. I don't think we're gonna have a goated week like this ever again. We'll have some great weeks along the way and great singular days along the way after this, but nothing to this level or degree. This one takes the cake, and today was probably the best one of them all. So. I mean, I'm glad I went in because, they got my social media audience got the storybook ending they deserved to see how this wrapped up going into the one Spurs game tomorrow, the Spurs roundup episode we're going to do on Sunday, and whatever we're going to do for Kelly Berglund's birthday celebration on Monday, and potentially a bonus, basketball broadcast for Brookside High School, thanks to my new friends, Aubrey and Bella. So I might go see Brookside play basketball with them, to support some of my new friends on both teams, like the 7th grade team, number 35 on the 7th grade team, and my longtime friend Matt since 4th of July 2023 at the baseball tournament with Gavin for the Dukes themselves, Matthew Burt, when I met his mom Laura, but I only met him for a couple seconds because we had to go. I had to get to a grad party, which the one whose grad party we went to, I'll mention her a little later. So therefore, that'll be the next YouTube video after Spurs Roundup on Sunday. And if we do a Kelly Berglund birthday tribute on Monday by 50-50 chance. But, oh man, and let me tell you what happened today. So we get there this morning. It's the crazy weather, but we're ignoring that like it's not even there. The power goes out for 5 minutes. We easily got a sudden 5-minute power outage. And while we were trying to take a picture for the National See Red Day that we were celebrating for fun, and the fucking power went out. And basically my wife yelled, but I barely heard it because everybody else in the room was freaking out. I literally screamed, "What the fuck was that?" I was scared to death. I was basically shitting my pants, because I thought this was going to be an all-day thing. I was like, no, not again. Not again. I don't want to go through this again like we've done too many times in the past. And somehow, it was a miracle from God. They came back on after 5 minutes and stayed on. And Crisis averted. Like, wow. That was, again, I said this like 100 million, 50 times. That was scary. But I'm just glad it was short lived, only for 5 minutes, and didn't last the whole day. Because we would have been screwed, and we would have suffered big time. But then that's when it started to get better. So when I went into the kitchen to hang out with my wife, her, Allison Smith, who's the grad party I went to when a day I met Matthew Burt and Ronnie Dunlap, and my little brother, Adam Gregg, those three, man, made me happy today. So, Emily, you've seen it. I'm not going to mention on here because I don't want to say the wrong thing, that'll get us in trouble. So, but she made me really happy today. She did. But here's where the bigger part came. So, I'll tell you what Allison and Adam did to me. So, Allison was getting new glasses too, just like me. Coincidentally, we were getting the same glasses and new glasses in the same day. And we were so happy about it, we decided to celebrate with a giant bear hug. But she was squeezing harder than me. She squeezed the ever-living shit out of me. Really hung on for basically for dear life. But here's the biggest part. I didn't know this girl was so strong. She ends up picking me up off the ground like I weigh 0 pounds. And Emily didn't seem to give a shit because she was laughing about it and messing around with her. So, and I actually loved it. That kind of made my day. And Adam at Epic Gamer, my little brother, who's Jeremy made for 19th birthday party I went to last summer, he was never really much of a hugger at all. But I brought him out of that shell today. Now he's really comfortable with me giving him hugs and, telling him I love you and calling him one of my boy best friends. And, he's a lot more comfortable with me now than he ever was before. He already was, but I made him extra comfortable, and now he's basically a huggy person now. That's all I'm going to say for now. I mean, I'm glad I was able to bring him out. I mean, he was not a shy person, no, but he was too shy to be a hugger, but I made him get out of that shell today, so I'm happy I could bring these shy people, whether they're shy as a whole or shy to do certain things, out of their shell and make them comfortable doing something and motivate them. So it's basically the week of motivation. Adam being motivated to be a hugger now, at least with me and my wife, because I asked my wife if he was okay with Adam giving her hugs and if Adam was okay with hugging her because her being my girlfriend, and they both agreed to it, and we both at his party, so I guess it makes sense. So, basically, I motivated him, and Aubrey and Bella motivated me to come to one last basketball game for the season for me after one last football game for the year until we get to the end of summer explosion come late August, early September, come Labor Day weekend when we end season 5 of Fun No. Season 4 is 2024. Season 6 of Fun in the Sun, and get ready for season 6 of Adventures of them come next year. Because I have a history of making kids' days. Even older kids, even older kids that look younger and younger kids that look older, that look up to me. So I figure, you know what? If, Aubrey and Bella can successfully score me a ride with some friends to the Brookside middle school basketball game on Tuesday, that way I can have more time to screw around with those guys and make some new friends, since the Spurs game is way too late and I can just relax and just come home, take a shower, have some downtime, drink a Coke, get a potential dinner, and then go to bed and get ready for my preemptive birthday celebration at work on Friday, the truck race that night, the Busch Grand National race on Saturday, and my big birthday gathering to honor my grandma for the Daytona family, all my friends and family. Well, most of my friends and my girlfriend and my mom, my grandfather, and my mom's lover. I'm happy for her. I'm not going to talk about that here on YouTube, on the internet, because that's not my business to share unless she's okay with it, and I don't think she is. But, I have a history of making kids' days in general, making them happy because they look up to me and they expect, to me to be a good role model. And, freedom of speech has nothing to do with it. I don't care what people like my mom say, because I'm pretty sure these same kids will cuss too whenever we don't know it. So, therefore, being a good example has nothing to do with freedom of speech, whether it be on the internet and real life. I'm pretty sure these same kids, or let alone kids in general, cuss just as much as grown-ups like me do. So, therefore, I don't know why. Anyway, that's neither here or there. But I feel like Matthew Burt would be very happy that I decided, to like, add a bonus basketball game to my schedule to support him, to win or whether he wins or loses. I think he would really love that. It would make him happy. It would make his day. It would like, basically help him heal even further from losing his dad because I'm a good friend like that and I'm a nice guy. I have a big heart and I get all that from my late godfather who has been off this earth since Mother's Day weekend 1995 when I was a year old. So May 11th will mark 30 years since he's been, well, no, I'm going to be 32. No, he'll be off this earth for 31 years come May 11th. So I get it from him. So therefore, I look forward to supporting you, Maddie. I love you, dude. So therefore, I'm sorry that you lost to your 8th grade away game to the Dukes on Monday after I darted out of there and Gavin darted out of there with his mom and her boyfriend and his dad and I darted out of there behind him. But guess what? If you're going to lose to anybody on that 8th grade Wellington Dukes team, there's no one I'd rather you lose to than another one of my new boy best friends besides Adam Gregg and you, Hayden, Hayden Davison. Okay, I don't know why I almost forgot his name. He was going to kill me for that. But Hayden Davison is one of my new boy best friends too. So I'm glad, you were able to lose to him if you're going to lose at all because I love you both very, very much as my boy best friend. So therefore, God bless you guys. So therefore, that's all I want to come on here to talk about. Get the video out of the way. We're going to have a lot to talk about on Spurs Roundup on Sunday, talking about all the last few games that, the Spurs played and addressing the David Jones-Garcia's devastating season-ending ankle injury. So have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Good night. And I will see you all for the next video on Sunday for Spurs Roundup and the upcoming content we got this coming week with the Brookside Middle School basketball game, mainly focusing on 8th grade Matthew Burt on Tuesday, ride premiering with my new Brookside Friends, and all the content I'm going to have for you for Speed Weeks. Daytona! Let's go away! Let's go racing and balling, boys. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Go Spurs, go Wembenyama, swipe on the fox. So even though this was mainly a NASCAR video, but this, recapping my Friday at work video was a bonus segment. So anyway, see you later, everyone.